Good day, everyone. Before I start, I have a question. Are you familiar with the story of Noah's Ark in the Bible? If yes, then Army for the Day might remind you of the story of Noah's Ark. Join me on the journey of Deucalion and Pyrrha and learn how they survived a massive and destructive flood and discover the reason behind the Great Flood of Greek mythology. Our myth for the day is composed of 3 chapters. In each chapter, we must first solve a riddle. By solving these riddles, you will not only receive a prize, but also you will get a hint about what will happen in the chapter we are about to unlock. So listen carefully and think faster. I'll give you 5 seconds to solve each riddle. So are you ready, class? Okay, let's start. Okay, let's get started with the first riddle. I read. I roar above with clouds so wide, the old world ends when I decide. Who am I? You have your 5 seconds to solve this riddle. Are you done solving the riddle? Okay, let's see if your answer is correct by pressing the next button. So, Mr. Yancey, what is the answer?
Zeus.
Okay, the answer for this riddle is Zeus. Great job. To unlock chapter 1, let's press again the next button. Now let's proceed with the chapter number 1, the sins of humanity. In the beginning, it all started with Zeus and his anger towards humanity. The reason behind his anger is that humans became so very wicked. They lied, stole, and disrespected God so much. Their actions showed cruelty, greed, and lack of moral values. At first, Zeus wanted to confirm if the reports of human wickedness were true. So, he decided to go down on Earth and disguises himself to observe humans firsthand. During this investigation, King Lycaon of Arcadia committed an extreme act of enmity. He tried to trick Zeus by serving him a human flesh at a feast, attempting to see if Zeus could detect it. To test if Zeus whether he is a truly all-knowing god. But as expected, King Lycaon failed. By the way, King Lycaon is the first werewolf in Greek mythology, but that's a different topic. Anyway, his extreme enmity triggered Zeus, which led him to the decision that humanity deserves to be punished because of their wickedness and sins. So by now, do you have any ideas coming to your mind what kind of punishment Zeus will give to humanity? Let's see if your idea of yours are correct by proceeding to the next chapter. But before that, let's answer the second riddle. I read. I drift through storms, though small and tight, I hold the last of humans in sight. What am I? You have now your 5 seconds to answer this riddle. Time's up. Are you done answering the riddle? Let's see if your answer is correct by pressing the next button. So, Mr. Garcia, what is the answer again?
Art.
Okay, the answer for this riddle is the ark or the chest. Very good. Now, to unlock the chapter 2, let's press again the next button. Now we move on to our second chapter, the punishment. Now that Zeus had decided to end the humanity, his first idea was to simply destroy the humankind with his thunderbolt. But later, he worried that the earth and the sky might catch fire. So he decided that all people on earth must die by drowning. But before that, before humanity was completely destroyed by the gods, Prometheus, the titan who cared for humans, foresaw that Zeus would send a flood to punish the mankind. So he warned his son Deucalion about the impending disaster, giving him and his wife/cousin Pyrrha the chance to prepare. Deucalion was the most good and God-fearing of men, while Pyrrha is the most faithful and honest of women. So as a preparation, they built an ark, or often referred as wooden chest, to survive. So the day has come. Zeus sent the great flood with the help of his brother, Poseidon, to punish and cleanse the mankind. The deluge lasted for 9 days and 9 nights, covering the earth with water and destroying almost all human beings. The whole land became one giant sea without a shore. Only Deucalion and Pyrrha survived, floating safely on the chest that Prometheus had warned them to prepare. So what will happen next, now that Deucalion and Pyrrha are the only humans on Earth? What would they do? Mag-anak pa sila ng marami or what? Let's find out. Now we reach our last chapter, and also the final riddle of our story. Meaning, we have arrived at a conclusion. Now, are you ready to solve the final riddle? Okay, let's start. I read. I'm white, I'm hard, I'm hidden from sight. What am I? Now, you have your last chance and your 5 seconds to answer our last riddle. Time's up. Are you done? Okay, let's see if your answer is correct by pressing the next button. Now, Mr. Kenneth, what is the answer for the final riddle? Bone. Okay, the answer for this riddle is bone. Now, to unlock the chapter 3, or our final chapter, let's press again the next button. Now let's have our final chapter, the aftermath. After 9 days and 9 nights, the flood waters receded, and Deucalion and Pyrrha landed on Mount Parnassus. They surveyed the land, but they realized that they were completely alone in this world. They were saddened and confused about what they should do next. So, after that, they decided to seek guidance from Themis, the Greek titaness of divine law, natural order, and customs, and also the representation of justice and prophetic wisdom. So they asked Themis how to repopulate the earth, and this is how the goddess responded. Veil your heads and cast behind you the bones of your mother. Do you think is this a riddle or what? I think it's more of a cryptic message. Can you guess the meaning of this message? Or do you think it literally pertains to the bones of a real person or a human? Well, at first, Deucalion and Pyrrha were confused too, because the message sounded strange and even frightening. But later, Deucalion realized that the mother mentioned by Themis did not mean their human mother. It meant Mother Earth. And he understood that the bones of your mother were actually the stones of the earth. So all along, Themis was instructing them to throw stones over their shoulders onto the ground. So they did as they were instructed. The stones Deucalion threw behind him became men, and those Pyrrha threw became women, repopulating the world and marking the beginning of a new human race. This marked the rebirth of humankind, a new beginning shaped by wisdom, obedience, and hope after the great destruction. Thank you for participating in completing the puzzle pieces to help Deucalion and Pyrrha survive the Great Flood. Now, let's take a look at the central themes and meanings that are present in this myth. The first is divine justice. The story shows that gods judge human actions, and they do not ignore widespread corruption. The flood serves as a punishment meant to bring back the moral order of the world. Overall, the myth teaches that justice may come from higher authority when the human society fails to correct itself. The second one is renewal and rebirth. After a great destruction caused by the flood, the world is given a chance to begin again. The survival of Deucalion and Pyrrha shows that endings can serve as new beginnings. Humanity is formed again in a symbolic way that highlights change and renewal. The third theme is faith and obedience. The two survivors are spared because they listen and trust the divine warnings given to them. Their obedience leads to their protection and their role in rebuilding humanity. The story shows that faith and obedience are rewarded. So what are the symbols and motifs in this myth? The first one is the flood. The flood represents cleansing and moral purification of the world. It removes corruption and resets human life. It shows that destruction can also lead sometimes in renewal. Next, the stone. The stone represents strength and endurance. Changing stones into people shows that life can come from what seems lifeless. It suggests that the new humanity is meant to be more resilient. The third one is the ark or the chest. The ark or chest represents safety, preservation, and divine protection. It serves as boundary between destruction and survival. As a symbol, it reinforces the idea that protection comes from obedience and preparation. The last one is the Mount Parnassus. The Mount Parnassus represents refuge and new life after the destruction. Its height shows safety above danger and chaos, and also, it becomes the place where the humanity begins again. So, what are the relevance of this myth in our times? What is the story trying to tell us? I think the story of Deucalion and Pyrrha is still relevant in this time just because it shows how human wrongdoings, carelessness, and neglect can lead to serious consequences for the society. In the myth, people's greed and cruelty caused a great flood, which can be compared to modern problems like flooding in the Philippines. Today, floods are often worsened by the poor urban planning and black waterways and also the corruption in the flood control projects, which delays the solution and reduces their effectiveness. In a way, these consequences can be seen as form of punishment for those who act selfishly or irresponsibly, similar to how the gods punished the humanity in the myth. The story teaches us that whether through corruption, neglect, or wrongdoings, it can directly affect the other lives of people and also the environment around us. Overall, the myth reminds us that while human can make mistakes, we have also the power to learn from them, take responsibility, and create a better future, making the story meaningful and timeless, and also relevant in today's society. Before I end, I want to leave a quote from Seneca the Younger saying, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." That's all. Thank you.